I thought we should have a little what do you mean flashback and go back to that time I played a game of Monopoly with myself. Called it the Landlord's Game because that is what the game was originally called when they first made it. And I mainly did it to show that in the property market, a boomer versus somebody in their 20s, that just logically thinking about it, the boomer had the advantage from being alive longer. Now, I wanted to point that out as in the time frame of having more time to purchase these properties. And I also wanted to put emphasis on how much the price has gone up in that time. So what a 20-year-old in the 80s was facing is a bit different to what a 20-year-old is facing today. To simply put it, inflation and stagnant wages. I make this point because I do not neglect the fact that there are many older people that are still or now have to rent. So yeah, many older people that are renting still or for the first time, and some people that are younger that actually own a home. But I feel like then those people, between the ones that got a decent job and worked really hard and everything went right for them, that being the situation versus being born to a very wealthy family. Combination of both, but that's a conversation for another day. But I think you would agree that those two kinds of people, the older renters and the younger homeowners, are both minorities in their age group. So that's why I don't understand when people try to make the point that there are older renters and some younger homeowners, like they're saying anything different from me. Like, yeah, they both sort of say to me that things have either stood still or have gotten worse for the people. Where if you've got an increasing number of older people renting, what's going on there? And the small number of homeowners amongst the young, why aren't there more? How did the few do it? Because I am just lining it up for a inheritance, old money, tax the rich argument. And just on the off chance that there's somebody that's younger listening right now who's bought their home and like they're hating on me now, thinking I'm just assuming that you could only possibly be some spoiled freaking private school rich kid because you had to put a lot of hard work in and possibly make sacrifices and just go at it hard. And I recognize that you're out there. Nothing but love for you, and that's why I'm doing this little explainer on the whole. I just want it to have been easier for you, or where you wouldn't have had to have made sacrifices, or if that's not the case, just you have more disposable income. You can kick back a little more, especially because you've worked so hard. And I think what a big giveaway is I've seen a few channels do it where, we're going to go talk to some 60-year-old who's renting a room. It's like, all right, because it must be something different then. We're going to talk to this couple of 25-year-olds that, buckled down and bought their home together, and all you hear them say is sacrifice, savings. But it's like, yeah, good on yous. I think they learn not to do many segments like that, but you've seen them. Now, why I'm bringing this up is because I noticed that the Australian Prime Minister has put a moratorium on evictions, and there are landlords out there that are, decent dudes and not making them pay rent when they can't. Shout out to them. But many of them are just waiving it for now, and then when the tenant can be employed again or whatever the situation may be, they're going to ask for all that rent that they didn't pay. And I feel like that will be a majority of situations. I don't expect there to be many kind landlords that are well off enough to be able to waive that much money. So what I'm pretty much getting at is there is going to be a lot of Australians in a lot of debt because of this decision, because of the way they went about this. And yeah, I was watching or listening to Q&A, and there were lots of young people asking questions, lots of uni students asking for, advice or guidance on or opinion on the situation we face versus generations before us, what they had to deal with. And the panel went straight to casualisation. So they goddamn well know what they've fucking done of making everyone have to get jobs as casuals. I feel like so many other jobs are forgotten because I don't really think you can be a casual, I don't know, I could be wrong, but paramedic? I don't know if you could be a casual daycare worker. And I don't know of many casual plumbers or brickies. But even still, back to my peeps in retail or hospitality or pharmacies and fast food. I'm pretty sure something else that may have screwed over those guys as well. Remember penalty rates and how they've been cut every year on the same day that the Prime Minister gets a pay increase. Like, that's real. That's happened 3 years in a row because that's how they do it. They get kicks from slapping us in the face. They must. See, I've never really worked a job that received penalty rates, but I will not shut up about it. Because here at What Do You Mean? We care about things even if we never experienced it. So yeah, as they said, casualization, doing things like cutting penalty rates, inflation, and wages seem to not have kept up. But back to Morrison quickly, and I don't know if they would have had this discussion. If they did, how it would have gone. I feel like they wouldn't have, because the whole, okay, people can't be thrown out, good, we're doing the right thing, can't be kicked out of your home during a pandemic, only makes sense. Then what about the paying of the rent? Did they assume that all landlords are just fine and they'll be like, yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, we'll just pick it up when you get back to work. I'm all good. They surely couldn't have thought that. And they get to the, what if they go, you need to pay me when you do get money again? And then also pay to continue living there, most likely. And their job, how well are they going to pay them? That's a lot of debt to throw someone into. That's a big drop in standard of living for people if that's the situation they find themselves in. Maybe we should prevent that from happening. I gotta go listen to some of the press conferences, see what questions people have asked him. Because this is just me in a microphone, chilling by myself, coming to these conclusions, just by giving the sentence from the Prime Minister. So, with the whole fucking Parliament House and all the staffers, how could that of ABC report that told me about this even have come to exist? How can that happen? How can there be these so-called sophisticated, intelligent people making decisions and running the country when that's what they decide to do, to then lead to the ABC interviewing people saying, I don't know what I'm going to do? That shouldn't happen, considering I made it further just by sitting down and having a think about it. Oh my god. Just to complete this thought since we're here. People will be in debt. What should we do? Maybe put payments during this pandemic. You could do it whatever way you want. Sort of put it out there, offering it to the landlords, being like, hey, if you leave your tenants alone, we'll sort you out. Fill in this paperwork, get your payment. Or if you want to do it through the tenants, be like, you lost your job, but you have a landlord that is hassling you. Here, sign this. We'll sort you out. What? How did that ABC report even come to be? And this is when I remind myself that these are the people that brought you the robo-debt, which at its core is an attack on people at the bottom of the fucking totem pole. And while they're doing that with one hand, they're handing money to yacht clubs and shooting clubs and making sure that the buildings at golf courses have solar panels on them. It's almost like it is done intentionally to entrap renters into debt to their landlords. Because after the robo-debt, I really would not be surprised. Same as the job seeker payment. I swear that was calculated to be just a bit more than what someone who's still working would be bringing home, so they can build resentment between people that still have their jobs and they're like, they are sitting at home all day and they are earning $150, $200 more than I am for going to work. Either way, it's either a sign that they are super calculated and evil or just fuck shit up in just the right way. But either way, it definitely says that wages are a bit low. Question to people of all ages in my audience. I really hope it's got a variety in age groups, because that's kind of the important part here. I have a question. If you could let me know, you don't have to tell me your age, I guess the year you had your first job and how much you earned. If you want to be a real sweetheart, you could give us the number that you received and then you can adjust it to inflation for what that would be today. But I don't expect that from anybody. Just give me what you got on your paycheck and the year that you received that paycheck. And probably best put the country you're in that might help too. But yeah, I just want to make a quick recap video to be like, this is very bad, very, very bad. A lot of people are going to end up in a lot of debt for a long time, and we should probably sort something out. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. I'm going to go do some drawing to make a video that you guys haven't seen before. Peace. Actually, hold on, wait up. Added bonus. It just dawned on me. Like, think about it. I could see the Prime Minister and his cronies calculating JobKeeper payments in such a way to be able to build resentment and drive a wedge between people, but I couldn't picture them discussing the effects of a moratorium on evictions further than just saying you can't be kicked out. That just screams he is a fucking prick. Wait, what am I saying? I also can anticipate that decision is done to further screw over people with the least amount of power. And yeah, that's pretty fucked that I can see the Prime Minister doing things to screw people over more so than even just thinking about how to help people. Because other than the intention or the competency of this man, the outcome is the outcome. And what have we got? Working people being like, why are unemployed people earning more than me? And landlords being able to have that much more power over their tenants, of just shackling them with debt. And like I said, I'm just some random person with a microphone that gives a shit about people, so I can kind of ideas up some better solutions to the problems that we have. And before anyone even thinks of saying something about the price of subsidizing people's rent or along those lines, I decide that we can afford to keep roofs over Australians' heads. If we can afford a 14,000, give or take, to send an empty plane back because one dickhead politician needed to go, I don't know, stab Turnbull in the back to then back Morrison. He got 14. You know how many, you could at least keep a street good for rent with that one plane trip. You know, can we afford it? I think we can afford it. But if you really wanted to go for, we can't afford it, then I would have to go for, we need to rethink private landlords then. See, I can compromise. I can meet you halfway. And what that means that I start off by making room for your silly nonsense. So you cannot then turn around and say, nah, still can't prioritize your priority, which is people. We still can't afford it? No, not good enough. Not fucking good enough. Because that's the point of a society, a community, is to look after the people. If we can't afford the system, then we've got to change the system. So yeah, I just wanted to say, me trying to make this system that's currently in place work is my compromise. Now I'm done. Thank you very much.